What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're all doing well. So the other day I was recalling a time years ago when the built-in fan controller on the first PC I ever built suddenly died. While I was gaming, mind you, and moments later my entire system shut down as an automatic failsafe. I thought to myself, man, case fans must really have a huge impact on thermals, so much to the point that you risk all-out system failure without them. But then I remembered that the fan on my CPU cooler's heatsink was also wired to that same controller, which suddenly explained why my system shut down so quickly. The CPU cooler fan dies, the processor overheats, and cuts the power as a preventative measure. So on the tail end of my brief trip down memory lane, I began wondering what would have happened if just the case fans would have died. Would the system still overheat? Throttle a little bit maybe? Would I even notice anything was wrong? And that's basically what we're here to find out today. What would happen if all your case fans died at the same time? To recreate that harrowing moment, I've assembled a fairly average high-end gaming PC. Specs include the Core i7-6900K Broadwell-E processor, which lives on Intel's most relevant high-end desktop platform currently. I've overclocked the 8-core chip to 4.3 GHz at 1.38 volts, and it's being thermally assisted by a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. Our Asus Strix X99 gaming motherboard is kitted with a 16GB quad-channel kit of Corsair Vengeance LPX DDR4 at 3200 MHz, with a Zotac Amp Edition GTX 1070 running at its factory overclock speed. We'll be booting off of a 1TB Crucial MX200 SSD, and Fractal Design has provided the Newton 600-watt power supply and their ever-so-popular Define S mid-tower chassis. I also made the incestuous decision to swap the case's stock fans with Corsair's 140mm maglevs, which fall within the top tier of current bladed offerings. Let the record show this is nothing against Fractal's GP14s, but I insisted on having 3 identical fans, and the Define S only comes with 2, so the GP14s can suck it. It's worth noting that this is a fully air-cooled system, and I should also preface the rest of this video with a disclaimer that the results you're about to see are not necessarily indicative of every system out there due to the near infinite variations of system builds, but at the very least should offer some insight as to how changes in case airflow affect similarly built and/or spec'd systems. As you can see, I positioned 2 of the fans at the front of the case as intakes and 1 at the rear for exhaust. All of them are wired to the fan headers on the motherboard running at a fixed speed of 1400 RPM. With all the case fans in full force, I fired up GTA 5 and proceeded to monitor our CPU and GPU temperatures for 15 to 20 minutes. The end of our initial run saw sustained CPU temperatures in the 50s, with the max package hitting 67 degrees Celsius. Our GTX 1070, which was operating with an auto fan curve, topped out at 70 C, both of which are reasonable load temperatures. No problems here. Then, in the middle of my gameplay, like a raging lunatic, I simultaneously unplugged all 3 maglevs and watched their blades fall still. I continued gaming like nothing had happened, nervously waiting for the machine beside me to burst into flames at any moment. But it never did. In fact, I played for another 20 minutes without any signs of overheating or throttling until finally calling it quits and taking note of the new temperatures. Our CPU, which had hit 67 C previously, was now at a blistering 74 degrees Celsius. Now, a 7-degree increase should not be outright ignored, but this wasn't the hell-scorched result I was expecting. Similarly, our GPU only jumped 5 degrees, hitting 75 C, which raises zero cause for concern considering NVIDIA's own Founders Edition cards run notably hotter at around 81 degrees Celsius. Now, to be fair, our CPU and GPU aren't completely without help here. It would be unfair to dismiss the effectiveness of the Hyper 212 Evo or Zotac's custom cooler, or even the ample ventilation of the Define S, assuming you remove all those pesky Moduvent covers. All of these contributors undoubtedly helped our star components keep their cool, despite significantly hampering our case airflow. I hope you guys don't immediately toss out your case fans after watching this video. That's not at all what I'm getting at here, but I would like to point out that the number of fan mounts on today's average mid-tower case is higher than it ever has been. And with manufacturers fighting to make the coolest, blingiest, RGBziest fans on the market, it's now easier than ever to fall into this sort of obsession of cramming as many fans into your case as possible, especially for new builders who might mistake this trend as a necessity for adequate system cooling, when that's simply not true. Not to mention, sexy fans don't come cheap these days. These 3 maglevs alone add $75 towards the cost of our build here, so if you're trying to make the best use of your budget, perhaps that money is better spent elsewhere in your rig. Just some food for thought. That's pretty much all I got for now, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you're brave enough, try conducting your own little fanless test at home and share your results with the class. It'd be really cool. Apologies in advance if your system blows up. It's not my fault. Before you go, don't forget to toss me a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and check out Bitwit Ultra, my ad-free early access channel for $1.50 a month. The first 2 weeks are completely free, and you can back out any friggin' time. As always, I'm Bitwit. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one. Subscribe to the channel for more tech stuff if you haven't already, and I'll see ya in the next video.